Hi guys, I'm Charlie Book Fanatic, and as you can see we are in a different location today. I'm actually at my boyfriend's place where we have our very own bookshelf. I'm sorry if the chair I'm sitting on is kind of creaky, but we'll have to deal with it. Anyway, the bookshelf is going to be pretty empty because I'll have to show all of the books because we are doing an end of the year book haul, even though it's like the middle of January in 2018. Who cares? We're doing this anyway. So first of all, at the beginning of December, we have a holiday in the Netherlands, which you don't have in Great Britain or the United States, but we exchange gifts with each other. So my boyfriend and I actually got a couple of books, which I want to show you. First one is a book my boyfriend and I are very excited about, and that is Genuine Fraud by E. Lockhart. We read We Were Liars by E. Lockhart together, and I actually just bought my boyfriend another book by E. Lockhart, The Disreputable History of Frankie Landau Banks, and he's definitely going to read that because I'm buying it as a gift for him. But this is actually a very funny story. My boyfriend also bought this book for me as a present, as a Christmas present, and then his parents also gave it to us for that holiday we have in the Netherlands. So we have two editions of this, but we're going to read it together, so that actually ends up very well. But Genuine Fraud is about... Like We Were Liars, this book has a very vague synopsis, so I'm not really sure what this book is about, but it has two main characters, and one is described as a runaway heiress, an orphan, a cook, and a cheat, and the other one is a fighter, a social chameleon, and an athlete, and they are friends, and a lot of things are going to happen. The cover is very creepy, with the hair and the scissors, so, and obviously Genuine Fraud, but we'll see what this is. I'm expecting a thriller, plot twist, mystery, and I honestly cannot wait, and I hope it's just as good as We Were Liars was. The next book is one I have heard some things about, but not a lot, and that is Geekerella by Ashley Poston. It's actually a very heavy book, but it also has a very pretty cover. It's about a boy who is the main character in this movie adaptation of a sci-fi show, and then there's this girl who is an avid watcher of this show, and she is not happy with the casting of the main character, and they actually end up emailing each other. I think it's supposed to be a geeky romance, Geekerella, Cinderella retelling, geeky romance, that kind of thing, but there's also a vegan treat, like a food truck. I don't know, but it sounds very exciting. And my boyfriend and I are also going to read this one together, so I'm very curious to see what he will think of this one because it's definitely something we haven't read together before. Then I never thought I'd say this, but I'm going to read another Victoria Schwab book, and that is This Savage Song, which is the first book in a duology. Everyone has raved about this book, everyone has heard about this book, and it's actually a hardcover, which is super nice. But This Savage Song is about a monster main character and a human, and I don't think there's a romance in this, but some sort of friendship. Not really sure, but it sounds kind of good. I read Vicious by V.U. Schwab or Victoria Schwab, and that is a standalone about a villain, and that was really quite good. I like the writing style. It's very action-packed. It could be a movie script or something. I haven't read anything else by her, so I'm expecting this to be good. So I hope I won't be disappointed because I've heard so many good things about all of her books, and this one should be just as good. We'll see. We'll see. For Christmas, I bought my boyfriend a book, and that book is Wolf by Wolf by Graudin. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you know this is one of the books I love very much. This is one of my favorite duologies of all time. Graudin is one of my favorite writers of all time. Wolf by Wolf is about a girl called J.R.R. who is participating in this intercontinental motorcycle race, disguised as another girl, because girls are normally not allowed to participate in this motorcycle race, but this girl she's disguised herself as a boy before, and that's how she won this race. So she's allowed to participate again, and J.R.R. and her support group kidnap this girl. J.R.R. is a skin shifter, she can change to anyone she wants, she becomes this girl, and she's supposed to win this motorcycle race to, which is the prize, meet Hitler and eventually kill him. Because this is a World War II alternate retelling where Hitler won the war. I know, it's very exciting. Wolf by Wolf, the title makes sense when you read the book. It is a historical fiction / fantasy, and it's really good. I especially like this cover. There's also another cover, but I think this one is so pretty. I love the red. It tells a lot about the story. And I really hope my boyfriend loves this because he's going to read this on his own. He's currently reading Nightfield by Marie Bessel, which is also one of my favorite books of all time. So I hope he will like this one because I definitely did. Next book is Because You Love to Hate Me, which is edited by Emery and has 13 authors and 13 booktubers along with it. This is an anthology about villainy. I'm especially excited about the booktuber part because all of the booktubers in this collection have written essays and have given the authors prompts to write too, but I'm very excited to see what kind of stories are in here, what kind of villains, because there are some very exciting authors in here, like Adam Silvera, and Marissa Meyer, Victoria Schwab. I'm especially excited about Samantha Shannon because I just read her The Bone Season and I really like that one, so I can't wait to read a short story by her. I'm also getting the mime order from my boyfriend for our a lot of months anniversary, and shut up because of our 8th month anniversary I'm going to read that one. So yay, short stories. Well, I'm not really a fan of short stories and the font is kind of tiny, but booktubers, cool authors, villains, could be good. Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo, which is the first book in the Six of Crows duology. I haven't read a Leigh Bardugo book before, and I know this is the second series in her Grisha world. I am interested in eventually reading Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo, but this is the series we're starting with because I've heard many more good things about this series than her other series. So I've heard there's a huge cast of characters which is very well developed in this one, very lovable, very morally grey, which is right up my alley, and I hope also my boyfriend. I'm very excited about all of the different genres we have on our shelf right now and so many different things we can actually try. So this book is described as a book about a heist with all of these different characters, and I actually don't know a lot about this. I mean, the back also doesn't say a lot. It just says that there's a character called Kaz who needs a crew that's desperate enough to take on a suicide mission and dangerous enough to get the job done, and he knows exactly who. 6 of the deadliest outcasts the city has to offer. Together, they just might be unstoppable if they don't kill each other first. So it's very vague, but it sounds super cool. Then the last 2 books I am very excited about are 2 books I have already read, but we bought these books in Paris actually, which is so exciting. We bought them at Shakespeare & Company, which is an English bookstore in Paris. There was a line outside, we eventually got in, and we saw these books, and I was so excited because they were one of my favorite authors, and that is Emery Lord. We bought The Names They Gave Us in this absolutely gorgeous edition, and When We Collided, which was one of my favorite books of 2016. Both of these are favorite books of mine, and my boyfriend really wanted me to buy them because he eventually wants to read them. So I cannot wait for him to enjoy the stories I have enjoyed so much, and yeah. Really great books. The Names They Gave Us is about a girl who becomes a camp counselor at a camp for troubled kids. Her mom has cancer. She was in remission, but she's not anymore, and her mom really wanted to go to this camp. Her main character figures out a lot about her mom, about herself, about all of these people in this camp. She gets very close to them, and it's a book about family, faith, friendships, and ultimately also love. When We Collide is about Jonah and Vivi. Vivi suffers from bipolar disorder, and Jonah doesn't know that, and they get involved in this friendship/romance where Jonah eventually figures out that Vivi does suffer from bipolar disorder and she went off her medication. So that's not a good thing for someone who suffers from bipolar disorder that bad, and she gets totally out of control. She has these ups, she has these downs, and she does crazy stuff. This is just them figuring out their lives. It's mostly following these characters and how they develop, and it's especially a story about Vivi, and like the back says, who is in love with life. The back doesn't tell you that she's suffering from bipolar disorder, but for diversity purposes I think it's important to mention that. Jonah also has a huge family that he has to take care of because his mom is stuck in bed because of depression. You see his family, he has a huge family, he has to take care of them along with his brother and sister. Him falling in love with Vivi and Vivi coming over and getting to know his family, and family dynamics, love, friendship, bipolar disorder, and overcoming all of that are just huge part of this book and Emery Lord's writing in general. So for the next clip in this video, you're going to see me in my own room because I have some books at my place that I want to talk about for this end of the year book haul. But I thought I would show you these ones and not just show you a picture from my room, because I actually have these books and I have the time to film here. So I thought I'd just do that. But anyway, these are the books I got for the end of the year. Aside from the books I'm still going to show you, which aren't a lot. But yeah, I'll see you then. Hi guys, we are in my place again, so let's immediately move on with our book haul. The next book I want to talk about is actually a book I already unhauled. It's been a while since I did a haul on my channel. The last time I was in the spring. I will link that video down below if you're interested in that. But I bought The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien, and I didn't really like it. I read this before, I didn't like it then. I thought this was okay this time around, but still not my favourite, so I unhauled it already. It's in my end of the year book unhaul, which I'll also link down below. But yeah, I didn't really like it, so I already got rid of this, which is very funny, because I think I bought it in like October or November. Same thing with Mary Poppins, also bought during October, November, got already rid of it. So yeah, two classics I read, didn't really love, got rid of them. A book I did really love and still have is The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. I actually bought The Bone Season back in August. Like, it's been that long since I did a book haul, but I've read this one since then. I really love it. I'm actually going to get a mime order for my boyfriend for our anniversary on the 21st, so I can finally continue on with this series. This series is about a girl called Paige who works in the criminal underworld in her fictional world. Her job is to scout for information by breaking into people's minds. How she does that is because she's a dream walker. She can walk in people's minds because she has a specific skill. But then she gets kidnapped and taken to this prison underworld where she meets this totally different race called the Raphim, and it all starts from there. This whole book takes place in this prison world. There are actually orders of clairvoyance in this. There's like a whole tree of them, and then there is also a map of this prison world, and it's all really cool. I love it. This is probably one of the only books I have in hardcover. I'm going to get a mime order in hardcover, and I think these books are so pretty. I actually wanted to show you the naked hardback. Look at that. Look at that. It's a treasure. It's a treasure. Then back in October, my boyfriend and I got Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. We have been reading this since November, and we are almost done with it. I think we are over halfway through, maybe 3/4 of the way through. We aren't really liking this so far, to be honest. You can really feel this is a setup book, but Miss Peregrine's is about Jacob, who sees his grandfather die and then sees a monster scurrying away. He goes to his grandfather's house back in Wales, and there he meets these different, peculiar children, all with very different abilities, like being invisible. One of them can conjure up fire, one of them is surrounded by bees. They're very weird children. But we don't think we are going to continue on with this series, so this is probably the only book you'll ever see in a haul of mine. Then a book I got from my boyfriend for one of our anniversaries back in November is One Dark Throne by Kendare Blake. This is the second book in the Three Dark Crowns series. I am almost done with this. I have just a few pages left, and I will finish this after I finish filming this video. This is such a cool book. I think I like the first book better so far, but this book is so good. Three Dark Crowns is about these three princesses or queens that have to fight to the death for one of them to become the ultimate queen of their continent, of their island, because they are triplets and not all of them can reign the same continent. Two of them have to die, one of them has to live. The first book was very much a setup book, but I really loved it because there were some really cool revelations in there, and I am definitely excited about continuing on with this series, and I am definitely reading the third book in this series. I'm almost done with this. I can't wait to see if this ends up on a cliffhanger. It probably will, but I honestly cannot wait for it. So good. I would really recommend this series. Then we had kind of an impulse buy because we went to Amsterdam and there is an American book centre full of English books, and there we saw this, The Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, Manga Classics Edition. This is obviously a manga and it's full of cute illustrations. I really like Jane Austen. Pride and Prejudice is not my favourite story by her, but there are a lot of her stories in manga version. I've seen Emma, but that one was more expensive. This was the cheapest one there, and I cannot wait to finally finish this. We have been reading this, I should hold it like this. I mean me and my boyfriend, and it is so cool so far. I love the illustrations, seeing all of these characters come to life and how illustrator really took the liberty of making this story their own. I really like this and I cannot wait to continue on with this. It's so exciting. Then for Christmas I got a book from my boyfriend's grandma, and that is Foreign Fruit by Jojo Moyes. This is the Dutch edition, but I'm probably going to be reading it in English. I've never thought about this book before, but it sounds really cool and I'm actually excited about his grandma giving me a book by an author I've actually heard of. I wish my grandma would do that, but she obviously doesn't know. Jojo Moyes is the author of Me Before You, which I really liked, and I watched the movie again recently with my boyfriend and it was so good. I know there are some problematic concepts in Me Before You, but I still really liked it. It made me very emotional, and this one sounds cool as well. It's about these two girls who have been growing up as sisters but are actually best friends. And one day one of these best friends introduces her new fiancé to the other best friend. And the other best friend immediately realizes that Guy, the fiancé, is actually the love of her life. They are moving into this villa where they are making a huge wall painting. And when Guy sees the painting, he actually realizes he has been engaged to the wrong woman. 50 years later, someone buys this villa and actually hires someone to renovate it, but then the whole past of this villa comes back to life. So it sounds very mysterious. I can't really gather anything from the back of the book, so I'll just have to read it. It's quite a thick book, but I am actually excited about this. So yeah, Foreign Fruit. Interesting. And the last thing I want to talk about is another present I got from my boyfriend, and that was also for Christmas. And that is Miss Marvel Volume 3 Crushed by G. Willow Wilson. I love this series. I've read Volume 1, 2, 5 and 6 I think. I'm currently reading Volume 3. I really love Miss Marvel. She's a Muslim superhero. She's trying to balance her high school life with her superhero existence. You know, Loki is one of my favorite villains ever. Like, I love him. And he was so funny in this particular issue. Bruno, one of the main characters in the series, actually called him a hipster Viking, which I had a good laugh about, to be honest. Yeah, this series, very exciting, and definitely want to continue on with the whole series, all of the volumes. I'm so happy I have this. So this was a big book haul, I know, but these are all of the books I bought since the summer. It's been a while since I did a book haul. I need to do one more frequently because this was kind of crazy for me. But these were all of the books I bought. Let me know down below if you've read any of these. What books did you buy during the past half year? I would love to know. Thanks for watching. Goodbye! But I am eventually interested in reading the Grisha. Eventually reading, When We Collided is about Jonah? I actually bought this bone. I'm going to get the My Mother for my boyfriend for our, how many months anniversary? Definitely, and that is Pride and Prejudice, the manga. Which is Bruno, one of the main characters, actually called him a